Okay, Evelyn Downey, you're the one who's to blame for this. You asked for this. So this is something for Mother's Day. Now, people of my generation, our mothers have gone. Younger people, your mothers are still alive, but of course you can't go and visit them today, can you? Now, I know in Australia it's not Mother's Day yet. You use the American one, but nonetheless, this will mean something. So I'm using the same source, Around the Bory Log, which is the book by John O'Brien about the Irish Australian settlers. And by now, of course, the younger generation are Australians, and their parents, though, are still Irish, and they bring out a lot of Irish customs with them. And of course, one of the Irish customs was a nightly prayer, which was called the Rosary. And the Rosary consisted of 5 decades. A decade was 10 Hail Marys, which you counted off in your beads, topped and tailed by the Our Father and the Glory be to the Father. And this was a nightly custom among Irish families here in Ireland and out in Australia. So, having got all that out of the way, this is for Mother's Day. I hope you like it. Ah, the memories that find me now. My hair is turning grey, drifting in like painted butterflies from paddocks far away, dropping dainty wings in fancy, and the picture's fading fast. Stand again in rose and purple in the album of the past. There's the old slab dwelling, dreaming by the wistful, watchful trees where the coolabahs are listening to the stories of the breeze. There's a homely welcome beaming from its big, bright, friendly eyes, with a sugar loaf behind it, blackened in against the skies. There's the same dear, happy circle round the Bory's cheery blaze, with a little Irish mother telling tales of other days. She had one sweet holy custom which I never can forget, and a gentle benediction crowns her memory for it yet. I can see that little mother still and hear her as she pleads. Now it's getting on to bedtime, all you children get your beads. There were no steel-bound conventions in that old slab-dwelling free, only this. Each night she lined us up to say the Rosary. E'en the stranger there, who stayed the night upon his journey, knew he must join the little circle, aye, and take his decade too. I believe she darkly plotted, when a sinner hove in sight, who was known to say no prayer at all, to make him stay the night. Then we'd softly gather round her, and we'd speak in accents low, and pray like Saint Dominic so many years ago, that the little Irish mother's face was radiant, for she knew that where 2 or 3 are gathered, he is gathered with them too. Or the paters and the abbes, how her reverend head would bend, how she'd kiss the cross devoutly when she counted to the end, and the visitor would rise at once and brush his knees, and then he'd look very, very foolish as he took the boards again. She had other prayers to keep him. They were long, long prayers in truth, and we used to call them Trimmings in my disrespectful youth. She would pray for kith and kin, and all the friends she'd ever known, yes, and every one of us could boast a Trimmin all his own. She would pray for all our little needs, and every shade of care that might darken o'er the sugar loaf, she'd meet it with a prayer. She would pray for this one's sore complaint, or that one's hurted hand, or that someone else might make a deal and get that bit of land, or that Dad might sell the cattle well and seasons good might rule, so that little John, the weakly one, might go away to school. There were trimmings too that came and went, but ne'er she closed without adding one for something special. None of you must speak about. Ah, gentle was that little mother, and her wit would sparkle free, but she'd murder him who looked around while at the Rosary. And if perchance you lost your beads, disaster waited you, for the only one she'd pardon was himself, because she knew he was hopeless, and 'twas sinful what excuses he'd invent. So she let him have his fingers, and he cracked them as he went, and bedad he wasn't certain if he counted 5 or 10, yet he'd face the crisis bravely and would start around again. But she tallied all the decades, and she'd block him on the spot with a "Glory, Dada, glory!" and he'd glory like a shot. She would portion out the decades to the company at large, but when she reached the Trimmings, she would put herself in charge. and it oft was cause for wonder how she never once forgot, but could keep them in their order till she went right through the lot. For that little Irish mother's prayers embraced the country wide. If a neighbour met with trouble, or was taken ill, or died, we could count upon a Trimming, till in fact it got that way that the Rosary was but Trimmings to the Trimmings, we would say. Then himself would start cune running, for the public good, we thought. Sure, you'll have us here till morning, yere will you cut them trimmings short? But she'd take him very gently, till he softened by degrees. Well, then, let us get it over. Come now, all hands to their knees. So the little Irish mother kept her trimmings to the last, ever growing as the shadows o'er the old selection passed. And she lit our drab existence with her simple faith and love, and I know the angels lingered near to bear her prayers above, for her children trod the path she trod, nor did they later spurn to impress her wholesome maxims on their children in their turn. Aye, and every sore complaint came right, and every hurted hand, and we made a deal from time to time and got that bit of land, and Dad did sell the kettle well. And little John, her pride, was he who said the mass in black the morning that she died. So her gentle spirit triumphed, for 'twas this, without a doubt, was the very special Trimming that she kept so dark about. Ah, but the years have crowded past us, and the fledglings all have flown, and the nest beneath the sugar loaf no longer is their own. For a hand has written, Finny, and the book is closed for good. There's a stately red-tiled mansion where the old slab dwelling stood. There the stranger has her evenings, and the formal supper spread, but I wonder, has she Trimmings now, or is the Rosary said? Ah, those little Irish mothers, passing from us one by one, who will write the noble story of the good that they have done? All their children may be scattered, and their fortunes windwards hurled, but the Trimmings of the Rosary will bless them round the world. Bit sentimental, bit cheesy, but hey, it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Peace. God bless. Stay safe.